everyone. My name is Lindsay, and I'm going to be talking about why we need more comprehensive sex education programs in schools throughout the United States. So, it is estimated that by the end of high school, nearly 2/3 of America's youth have been sexually active or are sexually active, and one in five has had 4 or more sexual partners. And my thing is, for that age, that's kind of concerning. But besides that, this is why it's important that we do everything we can to ensure that our kids are receiving the education about it. When it comes to sex education, one type of sex education that might help more than others to reduce teen pregnancy is comprehensive sex education, which explains contraceptives. But it's like, even if we don't have comprehensive sex education, it's still better than have something than nothing at all. Seeing the results of lack of education, not just in my personal life, but over half of the country, there are possibilities that our country could have increased rates of teen pregnancies and STDs. And this could have bad effects on our country's teen girls. Being 19, I have watched countless of people that I went to high school with and other people that I know get accidentally pregnant or wind up with an STD. And every time I have asked them if they were using contraceptives, they all said the same thing, that they weren't. I also asked them if they had ever talked about contraceptive in a health class, in high school, or even, well, not really in middle school, but in high school. And they all said no, and that they were only taught about abstinence or weren't taught anything at all. In my class, growing up in high school, I was lucky enough that my school had us talk about it. It was a very short unit, but it was still mentioned in class by our teacher. And I don't know 100% sure if he was supposed to talk about us using contraceptives, but we went over, all the stuff that can happen if you don't use them, of course. But out of developed countries, the United States is ranked first in sexually transmitted diseases in teen pregnancy. Like, our rates are the highest, and that's really concerning. Over half of our country is not requiring sex education in schools, and Idaho is one of these states. They believe that it's up to parents or the school boards to ensure that kids receive this education, and this law hasn't changed in 40 years actually almost 50 years now. They haven't changed it since 1970. So that's really, really concerning. But not requiring sex education in school is going to lead to increased rates of teen pregnancies and STDs in the future. It's going to be inevitable if we don't act and do something. A lot of the time, girls who get pregnant before they finish high school will quit high school and not finish their education. And this causes a poor family life for not only that kid, but maybe if they have future siblings or even just the parents themselves in the future. It also has caused more girls to get abortions instead of choosing to keep the baby, which in some families causes tension and has completely broken up families altogether. This also has resulted in lawsuits between the families of, the birth mother and families of the birth father. Another problem has been that these girls are giving up their babies for adoptions, and it has resulted in a ton of more kids entering into the foster system. And our foster system right now is overflowing with kids, and our foster system is not doing well in our country. And if more girls continue to get pregnant and give up their babies, it is not making it any easier for those people who are in the foster system to get out of the foster system. But having sex education in all schools is never going to fully solve the problem of teen pregnancies and STDs, because of course it can happen whether, they know or not, but it's a start. There have been countless studies of the changes that having sex ed programs in schools have made, and more specifically comprehensive sex education programs have made. And if we want something to change, We have to have a program that talks about contraceptives, because talking about just abstinence is not going to work for kids. I'm sorry, but like, teenagers are teenagers. They're gonna have sex whether you tell them to or not, depending on their personality and who they are. So it's better to teach them how to have safe sex than just to tell them not to have it at all, because that's not gonna work. So, but if you would like to help, of course, you could write to your school board and talk, in your school district if they don't have programs, or even write to your legislator and talk to them about, having the state make a law about requiring programs. But if you would like to know, which states require these programs and which don't, you can go to ncsl.org. It's the National Conference of State Legislatures. So it has a list of all of the states in the U.S. that have that require programs and the ones that don't. So, but yes, of course, write to your legislator and do whatever you can. I truly, strongly believe that this is a very important topic, and it's something that we really need to discuss more in our country, and we don't. And I think that's concerning. So, yes. So yeah, that's one way that you can help, or a couple ways that you can help. Thanks.